What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to check out a new oil drain line that we got from Morrison Fabrications. I'm in the middle of tuning, but my oil return line is leaking pretty good. What a better time than to do some modifications. Stock block 6466 STM 650 cams, FIC 2150 injectors, STM ported skunk 2, 1000 horse capable intercooler, the Garrett 3.8. Kind of basically it. Built head, double pumper setup. One hell of a shifter. One hell of a shifter. Nothing short of just a blast with that thing. I really want to do a review about that, so once I'm all tuned and ready to go, I'm definitely doing one of those. First things first, bumper's off already, just because I'm tuning and I want to be able to access everything. It's really easy to get off. Little top release, side release kit, super easy to get off. So we're going to jack the car up, get underneath, check out the oil line, take everything off. So with the car jacked up, you want to go underneath the car, pull out your stuff. I'm going to grab a flashlight. Yep. Then the oil line for the precision turbo is like, oh, can we see that? Yeah. The oil drain for the precision's right there, so I need an extension. I'm going to need to take that guy off. And then God, it's real oily under here. Get to those guys as best I can. I want to say they're 12s. A lot of rust because coming from Utah. So I'm going to get that guy off, those guys, and then I'm going to put them on the table. You are going to lose a little bit of oil, so it's probably best to do this during an oil change. I could have waited till the next one, but I probably could have gotten this ahead of time, since I've seen it coming and I know it's been leaking. That's what you kind of get with letting this stuff go for so long. Started leaking, early. Kind of checked it out. I tightened it as best I could, and it just wouldn't tighten anymore that I felt comfortable tightening to. Let's check out this Morrison return line. This is my little workbench for now, as you can see. Thank you everybody at Morrison. I'm hoping it does make it easy. This is what comes with your line when you order from Morrison. You have a package, a little note with some instructions, inventory lists. We hope we make things as easy for you as it has been for us. These fittings are slightly angled, so that precision fitting you want angled towards the oil pan, and that oil return fitting from the pan, is angled too. So you can get a good, solid little angle with these guys. The clamp on, system looks to be really easy. I'm hoping it doesn't leak. I've never used this return line before, so I'm genuinely curious, the ease of setup versus, like a push lock fitting. Push locks, you have a couple of barb fittings and then you just simply push them on. They really suck pushing on if they're made really tight. Once you're done making them, that's kind of it. Same with the AN lines. As soon as you're done making those, that's it. That's all you got. There is no redo. That's the only difference. This clamp-on fitting setup is supposed to make things extremely easy. So you can just remove, the hose. And you don't have to, do this kind of thing. We're going to make something similar. We're going to get it as close as possible. I'm probably going to start with the precision side. Which, by the way, when you order this setup, it does not come with gaskets. So I have ordered some of these gaskets. I had some OEM return line gaskets laying around. If you have an Evo, you should probably have a couple of those on hand. These bolts right here have a little rubber O-ring around them to help prevent leaks. And then obviously these bolts go to the precision turbo. Kind of curious how this goes. So the first side we're going to do is going to be the turbo. We're gonna make the turbo line, and then from there we'll be able to coordinate what way we want it, what angle we need, how much line we need, and then we'll just start making stuff from there. So remember, there's an angle on this, so it's not just a straight fitting. So if I go and check out the orientation of my turbo, it's gonna be like that. So I want my fitting to be like that. So it's closer to the pan, and it'll be like that. So then I'm gonna make my line and route it that way, and then get it over to that guy. Now you might have seen what was going on with the oil pan and been like, dude, you have JB Weld on your oil pan. I do, because a fabricator in Utah, he decided to blow smoke up my rear and tell me that he was gonna take care of me with a whole new hot part setup. And the downpipe just made contact with the oil pan, and that's my fault for not checking. Not only did it make contact with the oil pan, it made contact with the T-case. So T-case has like a little burn to it, and then the oil pan has a very, very thin area of the oil pan right there. So I plan on getting a different pan in the future. I'll probably order another one of these setups, or just simply have someone weld, take the old fitting off the car and then have them weld that fitting onto the new pan. So that way I don't have to worry about gaskets, I don't have to worry about anything when it comes to that. But in the meantime, I'm working with what I got. All right, so what you want to do is mock everything up, throw everything on, see how it fits. I've mocked that guy up there underneath the precision turbo, and then I've mocked that up onto the oil pan. No gaskets, nothing like that, just because I don't need them right now and it's going to be a mess. But I don't want to have that right there where it just kind of flattens out. So where it flattens right here, it goes into almost like a 90. I don't want that. I kind of want a smooth transition. So I'm going to need to cut back probably like an inch, go back an inch, make a cut, come back, you know, and keep trying, and then keep seeing, trim to fit. This is the way. Let's see how that worked. Probably gonna do 1/2 inch increments at this point, just so that way it's not, I'll be able to tell right away if it's too tight or if it's too loose, just a little more, or a lot more. So just little 1/2 inch increments. I may just do it a little more. I'm gonna try to go for a 1/4 inch. And see, that way it's not too terrible if it's too tight. I'd rather it be too tight than too loose. It actually says it on the Morrison things, on the Morrison information, so I'm gonna try to keep it nice. I like that way more. Probably do a little more, but I think that's a pretty good line right there. Trying to get around this downpipe, but fitting right there, going up right there. I would say that's a pretty solid line. Nice little gravitational pull, like a little slide. I don't want it going down and then 90 over. I want it to be a casual, you know, return line. So I believe we've made our return line. Now I just need to use the right hardware, get everything on, clamped, oriented properly, making sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. We should be good. One thing to note when you're mocking it up, looks like it goes all the way back up there. But it's not gonna go all the way quite there, no matter how much you push on it. So what I'm gonna do is still clamp this here, but I'll probably run another zip tie just on the back side of it, just for a little extra. Just make sure that when you make your cuts, you want it to be angled. I'm not too worried about it. Shouldn't be that big a deal. But I think what'll happen is if I do make that cut, it'll be too short. And I think it'll put too much tension on the fitting itself and the line. So I'm just gonna run it like that, and I'm just gonna see what happens. Worst case, it leaks, I get a new hose and I just trim it. So I have the exact line I need. I would just need to add a little bit to it. So just a little note. So it should be something like so. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll see how it looks again once it's all said and done. Another way to tell if you're on the right path. You see your old style fittings. These ones are a little easier because they're angled, but these ones really suck to make. This one, it's not as angled as these, but you don't have to deal with tightening this. Don't have to deal with making the line. You don't have to deal with trying to push this on, because that sucks. That's a lot of elbow grease to try to get these on good ones. Other ones, not so much. And then the other part is that sometimes they leak from like the middle area, which whole nother mess. So let's see how this guy goes on. Let's see the fitment. You have to clean the areas. So what you want to do is just grab some brake cleaner, just throw it onto a paper towel, wipe the areas, make sure it's a nice clean surface, and then throw everything on. So I have the Precision side of the line installed. I wanted to go over this gasket. And this gasket has a little raised side on it, and then a very flat side. That flat side is going to go towards the fitting, so it'll look like this on the car. That raised side will go towards the pan. This side is supposed to be a machine flat fitting. That flat side should be fine. The raised fitting, it's going on the oil pan. It's not exactly all that flat. That raised fitting will just make a better seal. Thought I would put it out there in case anybody was wondering. Food for thought. So I installed it. If you feel like you're gonna get pretty close to that starter and get close to that starter wire, just disconnect your battery. I may have created a few sparks. We're gonna see if this thing blew. Yep, yeah, it blew. Oh me. I'm pretty lucky that I have some spare parts laying around. Just made a little connection over here. Made a little extension right here to go to the 120 amp fuse. So that number 4 that I have labeled, that one popped. Is what it is. It's a $30 part. I just have to wait for Mitsubishi to get it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna electric tape that guy in hopes that it doesn't cause any more sparks, doesn't blow out anything else. Let's take a gander at this line before we go over that. This was a number 6. This was for the bolts for the Precision Turbo. This was a number 5. That was for the bolts to go into the oil pan. So that thing's right there. Don't mind the JB weld. Don't mind that. There's the line for the Precision side. And then that's how that thing looks. And it's all said and done, and it has, like I said, that nice little curvature. There isn't like a flat spot. It's very nice and subtle. Right back in the oil pan. So let's throw on this downpipe and let's start her up and see if she leaks. Running a little spicy. I need to adjust the TPS voltage. A lot of the oil is just on top of the, a lot of oil that got on the downpipes was burning, so I just didn't want to clog up my garage with the smell of burning oil. So I'm gonna mess with those voltages real fast. And then I'm gonna see if there's any leaks. I don't see any leaks. I didn't see any when I checked them out, so find out, but super easy install. Really like that about the return line. Super simple to install. Super easy to take on and off. Can't complain. The high idle is more than likely caused by the idle air control valve. But when I removed the idle air control valve connector, nothing changed. So it was just a high idle, it's like 15 to 2 grand. I'm gonna end up replacing that, but to end this video on a good note, the return line from Morrison is super easy to make, super easy to install. Just be very careful when you're cutting. It's okay to be a little tight, but you also don't want it to be loose. It's better to be a tight line versus a loose line. You don't want any crinking, you don't want anything like that. No reason for the oil not to go back into the oil pan. You don't want resistance going back into the pan. You want it to be a nice, you know, a nice flow. I think it's one of the coolest things on the market right now as far as return lines. Yeah, there's AN lines that work and they've been tried and true, but they're just a pain in the ass to make. I've made plenty of them. I've done ones in my double pumper, my valve cover. Once you're done making them, I mean, that's it. You have to be absolutely precise. If it's too tight, you have to get all new line, and then you also have to get a new fitting, which sucks. I'm very happy with the outcome of the clamp-on return line from Morrison. Thank you, everybody at Morrison Fab. I can't wait to see what else you guys bring to the market in the future. I'm definitely a happy customer with that return line. I'm gonna get into replacing this idle air control valve a little later, but for now I'm gonna go to the beach. I haven't been to the beach since I've been back from Utah, and I'm ready to have some sand in between my toes and a nice ice cold beer. I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Like and subscribe if you guys like what's going on. Let me know if I'm being an idiot. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Dream or do, it's up to you. Till next time.